Just now, the first spot XRP ETF in US history ended its first day of trading with $58 million in sales. It just beat Solana to become the biggest ETF start of 2025. But the price of XRP dropped by 7% while the market was open for business. The data gives us the following about what takes place. The Canary Capital XRP ETF, which trades on Nasdaq under the ticker code XRPC, has finished its first day of trading. The numbers tell an interesting story. Eric Balchunas, a senior ETF expert at Bloomberg, was following it live. What happened next was either impressive or scary, based on how you look at it. Let us break down what took place. Eric Balchunas wrote that XRPC had already hit 26 million in volume at 10:08 a.m. Eastern, which was only 38 minutes after the market opened. "Wow, going to blow away my $17 million guess," were his exact words. Has a good chance of beating Solana's 57 million as the biggest day one of any launch this year. That early energy was very strong. At the end of the day, XRPC had a total volume of 58 million, just beating Bitwise's Solana ETF, which had 57 million when it began. This was one of 900 ETFs that were released this year. The two are very different from each other. Third place is more than 20 million miles away. This is a big deal for institutions from the very first day. But now the story gets more complicated. Many people traded the ETF, but the price of XRP showed something else. XRPC started the day at $26.60 and hit a high point of $26.89 in the first hour. It then dropped steadily all day and ended the day at $240.55. That is a drop of 7.8%. As some analysts had predicted, the standard sell the news pattern came true. As soon as trading started, traders who bought XRP before the ETF launch made money. This doesn't happen often. When Bitcoin spot ETFs were launched, we saw similar trends. Before the launch, BTC went up, then down, but it started going up again as big investors poured money into it over weeks and months. It's important to look at the bigger picture, so let's compare XRP's day one to other big crypto ETF starts this year. On their first day, January 2024, when Bitcoin spot ETFs went live, 11 funds saw a total of $4.6 billion in trades. That's clearly in a different league. But Bitcoin had been around for 15 years, had a market value of $1 trillion, and was already seen by banks as digital gold. In July 2025, Ethereum spot ETFs went live, but their first day numbers were not as high, around 200 million across 9 funds. Ethereum was the second most valuable cryptocurrency and had been used by banks and other institutions for years. It was thought to be a record for an altcoin when Solana's spot ETF from Bitwise started with 57 million. Now 58 million XRP is the same amount. To give you some background, XRP is the 5th biggest cryptocurrency with a market cap of 143 billion. Institutional buyers bought 58 million XRP shares on the first day, which shows that they want to be exposed to XRP in a regulated way. Stephen McClure, CEO of Canary Capital, said that he thought XRP would do better than Solana's ETF launch because its use in payment infrastructure makes it more appealing to big investors. Day one makes it sound like he was right, but it doesn't tell the whole story. We need to check out what happened with XRP while it was under trade. The day began with XRP worth about 2.50. As soon as XRPC started dealing, XRP stayed the same or even went up a little. But by noon, there was more pressure to sell. XRP fell to 2.40 and then 2.35, ending the day down about 5%. It's interesting to see this difference. 58 million people wanted to buy the ETF, but the price of XRP went down. Why? This is because of 3 things. First, the approved participants who make ETF shares probably bought XRP ahead of time to put money into the fund. The day one ETF volume shows trading in shares, not always new pressure to buy XRP. Second, long-term holders of XRP who were looking forward to the start made money. Long-term users sold 135,800,000 XRP on the on-chain in the days before launch on March 3rd. In general, the crypto market was not clear. Bitcoin didn't change, and Ethereum went down a little. The big picture wasn't yelling risk on. What Eric Balchunas said in his second review is shown below. Thanks to XRP for the 58 million in day one traffic. The most ETFs started this year out of 900, just barely beating Solana's 57 million. Third place is more than 20 million miles away, so these two are in a league of their own. He also said that the success of XRPC supports the idea that institutions will want payment-focused cryptocurrencies. The amount of food shows a real hunger. So let's talk about what this means for the next 2 weeks. XRPC is just the first of 11 XRP ETFs that will start trading by November 25th. Franklin Templeton's XRP Trust goes live on CBOE on November 18th, which is only 5 days from now. The releases for Bitwise 21 shares and CoinShares are set for November 20th to 22nd. Grayscale and WisdomTree are aiming for November 25th on the New York Stock Exchange. With each launch, more people want to buy XRP, because approved participants are buying it to start new funds. If each ETF gets even 20 to 30 million in day one volume, The effect of 11 ETFs going live in 2 weeks could be big. That's hundreds of millions of dollars in institutional money going into products tied to XRP. The main question is whether this means that the price of XRP will continue to rise, or whether we will see sell the news pressure with every start. Bitcoin ETFs from the past suggest the first option. Bitcoin dropped at first, but then it rose as money came in over the course of months. The same thing happened with Ethereum. One thing that makes XRP different is that its schedule is shorter. 11 ETFs in 2 weeks compared to Bitcoin's 11 ETFs that all came out at the same time. This staged release could lead to repeated sell the news events, or it could build momentum as each launch confirms the one before it. In its official statement, Canary Capital stressed how useful XRP is for cross-border payments, and how it has a long history in the financial system. According to their perspective, the XRP ledger is a top framework for global payments that was designed to work with other systems and settle in the real world. The fund is made to be fast, efficient, and scalable in the world of global finance. This message from the organization is important. Canary is presenting XRP not as a risky asset but as the foundation for how payments will work in the future. That story sounds good to traditional financial companies that need clear rules and proof of use cases. 11 different fund managers are releasing XRP ETFs at the same time, which shows that they all see the same chance. Here are the risks, because the high from the first day shouldn't make us lose sight of what's really going on. First, XRP is still very unstable. The fact that the ETF went down 7.8% on start day shows that it offers regulated exposure, but the underlying asset still goes up and down wildly. Second, people might keep selling when they hear about new ETFs if every new ETF start causes people to take profits. Even though institutional goods are now live, XRP could consolidate or fall. Third, the total amount is more important than the first day. The price of Bitcoin did not change overnight because of Bitcoin ETFs. Over months, steady flows of money gave them steam. XRP needs the same steady buying from institutions. Fourth, even though the SEC Ripple case is over, there is still legal uncertainty. Crypto policy could be looked at again by future governments. Fifth, there is more competition in the payment blockchain space. Stellar, Algorand, and Hedera are all trying to get the same agreements with institutions. The fact that XRP was the first to market helps, but it's not a certainty. The only reason for this study is to teach you something. It's not advice about money. Do your own work every time. Don't put more money into an investment than you can afford to lose. That's everything you need to know about XRP ETF Day 1. 58 million, just beating Solana, but the price of XRP dropped by 7%. In the next 2 weeks, we'll find out if this is the start of long-term institutional growth, or just another news cycle about crypto. What will happen to XRP when Franklin Templeton goes live on Monday? Will it go up or will it go down again? I'm reading all of them. Enjoy your time, and I'll see you in the next